Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with Mr. Tate Mathews. And Tate, I believe you dubbed it this a couple of years ago, that we are now in the WCS portion of spring fling.
That's right.
Because if you win ours, you've got a shot.
Make it out of here, you got a good chance to go to Murfreesboro and be successful. This is where we make our hay. If you want to use that phrase, this is our time of year.
It's our time. Hey, let's do this. Let's start, because we've got a lot of results to talk about today. We're going to start off with track, the Class AAA South subsectional. Brentwood, surprise, surprise, wins the boys and girls. Ravenwood, runner-up in both. And I feel like we've been really singing the praises of Nowensville, rightly so.
Yep.
But you said it earlier in the year, too, that Ravenwood's saying, no, wait a second. We got a great program, too. Don't count us out yet. So they finished runner-up in both.
Runner-up in both. Great job. Man, look at the point differentials, though, between both the girls and the boys, especially the girls, but both the boys and the girls, from second place, from first place to second place. Brentwood boys, Brentwood girls, dominant.
208.5 in girls. Ravenwood in second with 77.
Yeah.
In fact, you could add up second, third, fourth, and let's say second, third, and fourth. You could add those up, and that still wouldn't equal.
Total. That's right.
I mean, it's incredible. They're going to win it.
And I'm pretty sure, I hate it because it was, sometimes these things happen. I'm pretty sure, didn't the 4x2 get DQ'd on the girls' side?
I believe that's right. On the girls' side, yes. Which means...
That's a first place.
Right.
Like, that's a first place. So, think about that.
Which is more points. Hey, get this, too. I was talking to Coach Brock about this. I was out at Brentwood High. We love Coach Brock.
Good man.
We were talking about track, obviously near and dear to his heart.
Yes.
And I said, is it possible the Bruins pull the double this year? And he said, that's the plan, but we'll see. The girls, and I know they're smarting a little bit from that runner-up last year, but they're winning it.
I think so, too.
Barring some kind of outbreak of sickness, or they're just too good.
They're really good. Coach Doty's done a phenomenal job over there. It was not like the program was broken, but still just kept it going, maybe elevated it a little bit. They're strong, man. Really, really strong. Fun to watch. Balanced.
They are.
There's no event where they're not good.
Well, and that's what's interesting. I was looking at some of the highlights from the event. Obviously, Hudson Elaine, Sophie Yount. Anytime you talk about Brentwood track, you're going to talk about them. But in terms of individual performances, it's not like they've got one person just dominating everything. They've got a bunch of people having team dominance.
Yes.
Claire Stegall, Nowensville, wins the 800 and 1600. Surprise, surprise.
Broke her state records.
Which is a broken record right now.
Just, where does it end?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Donovan Starr, in the 100, running a 10.59. And oh, by the way, he wins the high jump with a 6.7. I think second place, Michael Crutcher out of Summit, by the way, multi-sport athlete. I think his was 6.0. So quite a bit of difference. Sterling Weldon, Nowensville, triple jump, high jump. But again, you look at Brentwood, it's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. So I'm looking for the Bruins to do it.
You got a good chance. Daisy Oates Falls is going to get you at least one first, maybe two.
Relay teams you talked about.
Yeah, they're going to win the relays on both sides. So, Donovan Starr, that was really cool. That 10.59, we were together when we heard that at the workout. The first question I had was it wind aided? I don't believe it was. He runs a 10.59 in Murfreesboro. There's a good chance he's the state champion.
That would be. And we weren't really talking about that with him. Yeah. And for those out there that are that you question the multi-sport athlete, his football offers, they're stemming from this stuff.
Dang right.
They really are.
Well, he already had the UT offer. A big part of that is, as you and I talked about on the radio show Saturday. By the way, great reviews. You never disappoint. It was good.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we had fun talking about the Wilco workout. And then we got to talk a little flag football and some others. But Coach Hester has been very big on using the catapult system, which it looks like a vest, as we spoke about. The bro, if you are a Seinfeld fan, it looks a lot like the bro. What was it called? The bro, the brazier, the brozier.
Or the man's ear.
The man's ear. It's a black vest. It measures speed, miles per hour. Tennessee actually offered, they saw a tweet, Donovan Starr ran, I think it was 23 miles an hour, whatever it was. Tennessee sees it, calls Coach Hester, texts Coach Hester, whatever. Hey, man, is this legit? Well, he can send out the actual readout or whatever. Boom, he got the offer. Also, they had seen him play, but that speed. At 10.59, guess who called after that? Alabama, Michigan. That's what that time will do for you. He'll end up having an offer, maybe all of them.
And I love the catapult system. Again, Coach Hester always on the cutting edge.
Yes, he is.
He had that going for like 50 of our guys at the workout, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. And he was able to produce those times for those 26 different schools who were at the event. So I thought that was fun.
Very cool.
Hey, let's talk a little baseball. Congratulations, Nolensville pulls the rare double in that they won the regular season and the district tournament. Tate, if you'll take a look at that bracket, and what happens, once you win a couple of games, you're at a serious advantage because you don't have to go through that consolation bracket, so to speak. So they beat Franklin 2-1 in a battle. They beat Summit 1-0. That was an extra innings battle. Now they're in a good shape with pitching.
Yes.
They beat Brentwood 10-2. Brentwood came out of the bottom part of that bracket. And then in the final, they beat Summit 12-6. So if you look at Summit's journey, they win 3-2 in game one, but then they have to play Ravenwood 10-5. Then they had to play Indy 11-6. Then they had to play Brentwood 6-5, another extra inning battle. By the time they get to Nolo, Nolensville's got the pitching, but that's part of it. That's why the tournament, it's so important to have those arms like Coach Hudson does. They advance. They would have advanced anyway because they won the regular season. You and I, again, have a flawless record in terms of predicting these tournaments.
Awful.
Neither one of us said Nolensville would make it just because they didn't really have to, wouldn't be focused on it. The bracket got messed up when Page in game one wins 9-2 over Indy. Indy would have had to win like 4 or 5 games in a row to make it all the way to the region tournament, and they just couldn't overcome it. Big win for Page to knock off Indy in that first round. And again, Independence never really recovered.
No, they didn't. And that's tough, man, because a really good team's at home. But I think, we did a great job. We missed on that. We missed on Brentwood, Ravenwood. We got the top 2 right, but then it was
messed up.
Bracket busted. Messed up. But man, let's talk about Summit's journey, man. You gave the scores, but you get to that Summit Independence game. Okay, so they beat Centennial. Then they lost to Nolensville 1-0. Then they come back, had a pretty tough match against Ravenwood 10-5. That Summit game that they won 11-6, they were down 7-2. People were leaving the park. This is over. Independence has got it to 1. They come back and score another 9 runs. That's strong, man. Then they get the extra innings, as you mentioned, over Brentwood, 6-5. And then I'm guessing pitching probably depleted against the best team in the league in that Nolensville game. All that to say, Coach Manuel, where they started and where they ended, wow. Great job, man, because the future was bleak at the beginning of the season.
Well, I think we both agreed that Summit and Ravenwood at the end, they were as hot as anyone. So we knew they had a shot going in. I just felt like it would be Indy, and I think it would have been if not for Page. 9-2. Great win there. So Indy's going to the house. I know they're disappointed. Great season. But I can tell you this, now that we've made it to the region, these two will play in the region final.
Yes.
That other district, sorry, you're out. They'll play in the region final. They'll both be playing in the sectional. I look for them both to be in the state tournament.
I do too. That'd be unbelievable if Summit can get there.
It would be great, especially if you're talking about You replace a legend like Coach Kirby there at Summit, and for the year that he's gone, that they make it, that's pretty impressive for them.
Yeah.
So I look for them to make state tournament.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool. I think Coach Manuel was who Curb wanted, right?
Yep.
I think we all think that. So pretty cool.
He had influence.
He had influence. Pretty much that's who he wanted from the beginning, I think. And I think that's very cool to see it work out.
It definitely worked out. So congratulations to Summit and Nolensville and what Coach Hudson and his squad has done this year.
I'm assuming Summit will get Overton and Nolensville gets who? Do we know yet?
No, we're matched up with that other. You
Oh,
talking
that's
about?
right. That's the old days. Yeah.
It's
Are we over there with Coffee and
it's-
Franklin and
they're
the Jiffy Burger Dump?
we're listen.
There's only one good thing about going to Manchester. That's the Jiffy Burger. But a little tip from your old food buddy Tate. They only accept checks
Oh,
or cash. No credit cards. But they'll take a check. They do have an ATM machine, but get there early, get to the Jiffy Burger. It does not disappoint.
do you think anyone under, let's say 20, even can write a check?
No,
Just like no one can sign their name either.
that's right.
They
Or
print-
write in cursive.
They print. That's what I mean. They print their name.
Good.
Very fortunate that my two sons both had Miss Deathridge. Shout out to Miss Deathridge there at Beach Elementary at the time. She made them learn it.
It's a lost art, man.
They learn cursive.
It needs to come back.
It needs to come back.
Super 70 Sports is big on it too.
I like cursive.
I do too.
I feel like used to like you could say you could rip me off because you can't because of my signature. You can't duplicate it. You can't duplicate how I print. Is that what seems weird?
Right.
And then signing your John Hancock, that thing's out the door.
They don't even know what you mean.
Printing your John.
First of all, what are you talking about? Second of all, who's John Hancock?
Oh, they know and will call about. Yeah, maybe. All right, let's talk a little softball. Now, softball, weather kind of has gotten them in the early rounds. They started their tournament a little bit later. But if you take a look, Nolensville, Summit, they're now both in the finals of what I'd call the winner's bracket. They've both won a couple of contests. Nolensville 14-0 over Franklin, 6-3 in a great matchup with Centennial.
Yep.
And then, again, kind of like what happened in baseball, we both thought Page would have a shot to be there at the end. Not only do they get upset by Ravenwood, 5-1 in the first round, their next matchup, Coach Buchanan and Independence, they knock out Page 4-2, which is a total surprise. So now we got Nolensville, Summit on that top half. Winner of that will have the definite upper hand to win the tournament.
Yes.
You got Battle of the Woods and then Independence Centennial left over. So interesting what's happened outside of Nolensville Summit because we both thought those are the two.
Yeah.
So we still think that.
Yep. Still think it. Man, look at those bats in that first round. And we talked about this. I know we threw Page in there a little bit, but we feel like Nolensville, Centennial, Summit, Nolensville, Summit, Centennial, whatever. Those three are the three. 14 runs for Nolensville, 13 for Centennial, and 12 in the opening round. That's some bats right there, man. And then Summit turns around and they scored 22 runs in the first two games.
They're playing well.
They're playing well.
So, and I'll be honest now, Ravenwood going into that matchup, I had a little inside information there that Ravenwood felt like they should have swept them in the regular season.
Oh.
But didn't work out.
That's a nice win over Page. Coach Buck, tournament time.
It is. But I'm going to say this. So, Coach Serban's been resting the youngster, Lexi Vernon, a little bit. I'm not saying now he's going to be able to rest her against Indy.
You can't.
But you got to like that where they're going to be looking at pitching-wise. If that game goes like it could,
Well,
maybe he can at some point.
that's an elimination game, right?
Right, so he's not going to rest her.
gotta
But
be- all right.
I'm just saying Centennial should win that going away, honestly.
would-
But
You would think. Now, so
count
that
Indy out.
means, geez, this is tough.
I look for it to be Brentwood Centennial. Don't you? In that next matchup with Brentwood getting Ravenwood, Centennial getting Indy, and then the winner of that one would get the loser of Nolensville Summit. Need to win that one if you're Nolensville Summit. Like, don't mess around.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's a big game.
What are your thoughts? I feel like you got something brewing here.
Well, I don't know if I've changed. I'm not going to change, but I don't know if I've changed. But I really like the way Nolensville's playing. Might have underestimated this a little bit.
And I definitely haven't changed. I've said the whole time.
Yeah. I felt like Summit was going to, which they still can.
They still can.
I just feel like Nolensville's playing really well.
We both agree they're going to be the two that
They're the two. They're the two, and I think they got a really good chance of both making it. A little bit tougher than on the softball sectional matchups or sub-state are tougher on the softball side than the boys side, I think.
Definitely.
Baseball
Well, let's just admit what's true. Those are more rural areas, and that's where softball has been queen, so to speak.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Softball's big.
Big.
Not that it's not big. Everything's big here.
That's right.
But those matchups tend to be a little bit tougher when you go out to those rural communities. Let's talk a little soccer, a little shake-up in soccer. So the first round, we talked about this last week, but Brentwood knocks off Summit. Pretty good matchup, though. Brentwood wins as expected, 1-8. Here was a big shocker. Independence coming in as the 2 seed, playing at home against Coach Shelton in Nolensville. They were down a pretty good player, too. Nolensville was. They win 4-0 over Independence, which was to me was a shocker. Ravenwood defeats Centennial, which didn't surprise us. Franklin beats Page, again, didn't surprise us. Now we move to the semis. Ravenwood, which to me they were given a little bit of a gift, and that it was Independence, Nolensville, not Independence. Again, no disrespect at all to Nolensville, but you're the 7th seed. You're probably not doing that twice.
Right.
Ravenwood wins pretty comfortably 4-0. Now it's Franklin and Brentwood. Now, you and I talked about this last week. We felt like, man, too bad for Franklin. We think they could be the 2nd or 3rd best team. They're going to play Brentwood in the semis at Brentwood, probably over. But our man Davis Long said, not so fast. How about that result from Davis?
4 goals. Franklin picks off Brentwood 5-1.
1, 2, 3, 4. By himself.
Coach, that's such a big time performance. One, Brentwood's undefeated. No, what do you call it when you have ties? Unbeaten.
Right.
Yeah. Brentwood's unbeaten. If you are going to beat them, it's going to be a 1-0, something like that, because they're so good defensively. Davis scores 4 goals. I mean, that's like scoring 50 in a district tournament game. Maybe more, I don't know.
Against the best team in the state.
Best team in the state. What a stud, man.
We love Davis. You know, and Davis, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think he's played travel soccer in years.
It'd be pretty hard because he plays basketball too.
Nothing against the travel folks.
No.
But my point is...
But if you're telling kids that's the only way you can be successful, then yes, something against you.
But are we going outside of what we should say to go, that's the best soccer player in the county?
Yes.
He's tough, man.
He might be the best point guard in the county.
Dude's legit.
I mean, seriously, you got any problem? You know, I'm a big EG fan, but I'm a big Davis Long fan too. You got any problem taking him with your first pick?
No.
None.
I've actually said I might do that if you'd let me. Or give me the 2nd and 3rd picks because everybody's going to pick, which I get it. But then I'm going to take Davis and then Tylen and or Cochran, and now I'm rolling.
That's right.
I'll take pick 2 and 3.
Hey, you know, we need to go back and get it. But remember, and maybe we bring him in. He got so upset about it when some people told him your team's getting beat. But Dr. Qualls and I on the Sports Connection years ago had a all WCS basketball team draft.
He messed it up big time.
He messed it up. Yeah. You were one of them who told him. He got so mad. Maybe it's time to have another one.
Maybe it's time.
There's a lot of new names on the list, man.
Maybe it's time.
Yes. Unbelievable performance. I mean, that one, there's been a lot of great performances go down in Franklin high school soccer history lore. That one is one. That's one of the ones, man, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that will be talked about.
Here's the thing they've got to do to guarantee it's going to be talked about.
Go to the
now it's the final.
Yep.
They play Ravenwood. So a reminder out there, the folks in soccer decided to do this too. If you win the regular season, then you move on to the region no matter what. So what's that mean? Brentwood's out of the tournament.
Yep.
That means Ravenwood takes on Franklin in the final, and you have to win the championship. To me, I get it, first of all, but it's a little awkward when you're like, hey, you're the district runner-up and you're also out.
Yeah.
That seems odd. So now you got Franklin Ravenwood, and I know Coach Burgoyne's saying, hey, everybody chill. We have to win this one now. We can't be worried about beating Brentwood. Brentwood gets to rest up a little bit. Again, I don't think that stops the Brentwood train. I still feel like they're going to be the state champion, but what a win by Franklin.
Great win. And for those out there, well, Brentwood knew they were moving on, da-da-da. Hey, man, they didn't give up 5 goals.
No.
That was Franklin.
They don't love Franklin either.
Feelings mutual.
Hey.
On the pitch, they don't get along real well.
Listen, this week's gym, as it is so many times, shout out to our man, Charles Pulliam. Saw this little tip from him. So the gym is Brentwood had not given up as many as 3 goals in a regulation match since April 14th, 2022. 2 years ago, 3 goals. Not only they give up 3, they give up 4 to one guy.
One guy.
I still can't believe
Hey,
it.
after the first and the second one, they probably said, hey, boys.
Cover Davis,
He still got
whatever. I'm not giving it the right terminology, I'm sure, but
cover.
double team. Get on it, slide tackle it.
Since we're so good at picking, do you want to pick Ravenwood, Nolensville?
You mean Franklin?
Franklin, Nolensville? I mean Franklin, Ravenwood,
Franklin.
excuse me.
I'll pick it, Franklin, but just because they've got Davis, man.
Yeah, I think so.
I know they got a team, I get it, but
I'm going with Franklin.
Franklin.
That one's going to be fun.
Hey, couple tennis results. This is pretty cool. District team championship. Only 1 team moves on. So for all you guys out there that complain about 2 teams moving on, how about 1? Which, that's every sport, whatever, but 1. So district final, 4-0. Brentwood wins both the boys and girls over Ravenwood. What a team Brentwood has. Again, if you're talking about spring fling, a real shot. I'm talking about the big one now. Obviously, the WCS spring fling, they've been doing it. They could very easily, there's a scenario where they could win both tennis, they could win both track, and win soccer. Is there, come on, man. They'll be in the hunt in all of them. Agreed?
They're going to get at least 3.
That's almost silly.
3's done. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. I think 3 is done.
And you think that's in?
I think they win both tracks.
Yeah.
Soccer, they got I think so, but they, good chance they're going to see Franklin again.
Incredible.
I don't know what Bearden's got, but I'm sure it's good. Man, and we talked about that earlier in the year. Tennis had kind of gotten some parity going. Not this year. Brentwood's been dominant beginning to end.
They've been dominant. And look out.
This one wasn't close.
Look out for Coach. I said this before. Look out for Coach Tigert and Franklin. They're on the climb. He's got some good young players.
He's a coach.
He's a coach. Fairview boys. We need to make sure we give them a shout out.
Big time.
A 4-1 win over Summertown. 4-time district champions. Coach Frank, congratulations to her and her son, Sam, great player. Who's also a wrestler, which is like, what? He's the best wrestling tennis player out there. So congratulations to Fairview. That's an impressive. And Summertown, for those that don't know.
That's right.
When you're talking about smaller class sports, I don't know if anyone's any better than Summertown.
No. Maybe Loretto, but I doubt it.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Don't sleep on the Summertown win. For that size and for that division, they're really good. They're a perennial state tournament team.
The house that Les Trotter and Brian Long built.
Brian.
Brian True. I'm thinking of the current coach, Wes Long.
Wes Long. Who played for Coach Trotter.
Yes, and both good to us, both a part of the leadership in TSSAA, Legislative Council, and Board of Control. Great guys, but Coach True, Coach Trotter,
we were Summertown fans for big time.
big time.
For those of you, this is a Wilco show. But if you ever have an opportunity to watch a game at Summertown, there's no place like
Hoops.
it. Hoops, sorry.
Great place.
Yes. Everything's wood.
They've got that wood divider between the floor and the crowd. It's great.
And it gets heated.
Heated.
You may see some overalls.
May.
Shoes, optional.
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's a great place. Tate, let's finish up with this. We had our second annual Wilco workout.
It's fantastic.
That's where we take 10 players from each school. So we got 90 young men at this particular event. The college football coaches, and I want to give a shout out to Mark Reeves and the folks at TSSAA. We were looking at this event pre-COVID even, and they were on board with trying to make this work for us. TSSAA and NCAA approved event. Now, you're going to see a lot of showcases out there, but some of those are third-party events. Now, the rules say if you're
Some of them?
well, most of them, third party, that means the highest levels, they're not able to attend. So you can't have the Trojans of USC in the house. They can't be there. You can't have Memphis. You can't have those kind of teams there. The other thing about those events, you are seeing some. I was talking to the coach at Princeton, Princeton, as an Ivy League. He was telling me, he said, hey, these are popping up across the country, but it's one school. So they talked about, look, it's a chance, instead of making 9 stops, let's make 1 stop. And also, the folks who we've invited, those are probably the 10 or so they want to talk to at this
Correct.
point. So it's great. We ended up, year one, we had 15 different schools represented, 26 this year. I think it was a total of 36 coaches because some had multiple coaches there. You talked about the catapult system and what Coach Hester did with that. But, the range from USC to a state school like Sewanee being there. Talked about Harvard, Colgate, Princeton, Memphis. What an event.
Richmond Spiders.
What an event. Butler, Furman,
Purdue.
man, App State was in there. So it's pretty exciting.
Hey, and if you're wondering if they just sent, maybe they just sent a representative. Jordan Hankins, defensive coordinator of the Memphis Tigers, was there he worked the whole time, right? Like talking to parents and players and had the cameras out. Coach McCollum, the head coach of Sewanee, was there. You mentioned the USC Trojans. No, not the Gamecocks. No, not the Southern Columbia Jackrabbits. We're talking about the Trojans. I don't know what it is about the Trojans, man, because I really don't like a lot of what goes on. But it's just got that cool factor, man.
Something's right when USC's good. You're thinking about the Charlie White days.
Or the Pete Carroll days.
Marcus Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going a little further back, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Charlie White, Marcus Allen.
Yeah, we know.
The juice. But, man, those Reggie Bush, Lindell White days, golly, those teams were fun to watch. So, yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to see. One thing I like is, you see the kids interacting with each other. With social media nowadays, all the kids are good friends from all the different schools. But seeing them out there, your boy Eric Hazard was out there. He's gotten bigger. Looks like he's gotten taller. The hair game was looking great. Brendan Ains was out there. Clayton Merrill, Walker's younger brother, another Merrill. He was out there running some great routes. He looks really good. The quarterbacks look good. Mason out of Summit looked good. So it was fun. And then Coach Jackson down there coaching his tail off with the offensive line and the shuffle. They got after it. You learned something new. If you don't tell the offensive line coach, time's up, they'll keep running drills until the next day. Coach Webb.
Oh, yeah.
He was Dr. Defense. Dr. Qualls been calling him Defense Donnie lately. I kind of like that. Defense Donnie down there running the D-line drills. It was great. It was fun. Seeing the coaches coach, seeing the players compete. And again, we talked about it last year. This is like a badge of honor. It's kind of like that golden ticket to the Wilcos. These Wilco workout invitees, is that the right word?
Yes.
It's a badge of honor to these guys.
Well, and they wear.
And it should be.
They wear the gear.
The gear looked good.
Courtesy of Adidas and Mathews Team Sport, they look great. If you're watching like the NFL Combine, it's no better than what we were wearing.
Yeah, we're not wearing Noble or whatever stuff is.
Yeah, no, we're wearing the good stuff. Hey, and here's something I thought was cool.
Fabletics.
You and I I'm going to give him credit for maybe making this thing grow. You and I ran into our man, Lemansky Hall, who was at Clemson last year. They were out recruiting Ronan O'Connell from Page, so he wanted to make sure that thing stuck. He's now at Vanderbilt. That was the first big name school.
Yes.
That led to USC, Memphis, some of these other ones being there. So we've got to give him credit for getting this thing going in terms of those colleges being there.
Yes, and he's in an off-the-field role in Alabama at Vanderbilt now. He played at Alabama, sorry. He's at an off-the-field role at Vanderbilt football right now, and he was talking about it. Hey, more of the big schools need to be there. So anyways, yep, pretty cool.
And there was a little bit of a rule change this year, not to get in the weeds on it. It shows you why that number is really impressive. And it's a in-home visit, some of that stuff you couldn't do and still come to this. So there's some schools that are like, hey, we would, but we've already made some of those other visits and connections we want to make. So it'll continue to grow. And listen, there's only one doing it, and it's WCS.
It's WCS. It can't be, it can be, but it won't be duplicated. Hey, and
they can't do it.
They can't do it.
Not like we do.
It's kind of like the Wilcos.
And I say part of that is you're going to get coaches to agree to, and our coaches don't even blink.
Don't blink.
They do it. It's great. Got to give up a practice date.
Yeah.
They could practice because we did it during the week, but those guys couldn't practice because that would violate the two-a-day rule.
Yeah, they're all there. They're all involved, coaching together. It's pretty cool. And credit, man. A wise guy once said, once a coach, always a coach, right? Always taking notes. A lot of notes taken from year 1 to year 2, improvements. There were plenty of notes taken after year 2. There will be improvements that will be noticeable come year 3.
If you're not improving,
you're getting worse.
That's right. You got to always look for ways, just little tweaks to get better.
I agree.
Tate, always good to see you. I'm excited about talking about more of these postseason tournaments and meets next week.
Can't wait.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.